Naomi Nicklas, the Jenkintown psychic. Welcome to Nature of Reality Radio. I heard about you from when I was working at Whole Foods and got back to my car when my shift was over. I saw a little pamphlet, a little paper, I should say, on my car with your business info on it, and little magic of sorts that led me to believe that there was something special to you when I opened the car door, driver's side door. I saw a little paper like hover down from like midair apparently and land on the floor of the car. You couldn't have possibly got into the car because it was locked there. So somehow a little magic had caused a paper of yours to get inside my car in addition to the one that was outside the car that you must have placed there. So definitely something special about you, I'm sure. That'll silence the skeptics, I'm sure, among other things. So, why don't we start off by giving you the opportunity to explain who you are and what you experience that causes you to do the stuff that you do? Ask you to be a primary source to set the tone for the rest of this interview. You've got the floor. I don't have Alex Jonesitis. I don't interrupt my guests, so I'll put myself on mute and let you talk as long as you need to about your life story and who you are and what you experience that causes you to do the stuff that you do from a primary source perspective. Knock yourself out. You got the floor.
Thank you so much, first of all, for having me. And, I'm really, really happy that my business card found its way to you. I truly believe that thoughts have wings. I also believe very much in divine intervention. And I believe that things happen exactly at the right time. Um, First of all, my name is Naomi. I've been a psychic for over 30 years. My office has been in Jenkintown, Pennsylvania for 14. What I do is I do psychic readings, I do intuitive readings, palm readings, tarot card readings. I tell past, present, future, love, talk about relationships, also delve into what's troubling a person, what's bothering a person, how to resolve the situation. I am a Reiki healer. I'm a Reiki master. Also, I have a special ability to basically walk in someone's shoes and see what they're feeling, what they've been through. Not only, am I a healer, but I'm also a victim of many things that have taken place in life, and I can relate to a lot of people. I received my ability at the young age of 6 years old in a drowning accident. I'm from New York originally, and I never really went to the beach or the pool when I was young, so my parents took me to Florida. When I was around 6 years old, we went to Disney World, and I couldn't wait to get into the pool. I was a very impatient kid, also was a preemie, so I just couldn't wait to do things, I guess, come into the world, go swimming. So my parents and myself got into Orlando late at night. We were driving from New York, and we checked into the room, and I just remember looking outside and seeing the swimming pool and becoming amazed. So, I basically snuck out of the hotel room without parents knowing, dived in without knowing what I was headed for, and basically almost died. It was during a drowning accident. And, someone was there and helped me out, and they called the ambulance, and they revived me, pumped my lungs. And I remember when I went into the water, I just saw a lot of shining lights, nothing else, just crystal shining. Like, I don't know if you can imagine what diamonds look like when they shine in the light. And that's what I saw. And I heard a voice saying, "You're not ready to come here. You need to go back. You need to go back because there's something you need to do on earth." And you have to understand, I was very young, but I was also kind of mature the way I grew up. So I knew that something was different. And so after that day, I was never the same. I started to see visions for people. I started to feel vibrations. I started to as I and some of my family members say, became abnormal. When I went to school, instead of learning science and math, I was learning to interpret my dreams. I became very, very obsessed with books on divination and, signs. I studied Aquarius, Capricorn, Pisces, Taurus. Those are the things that I learned during my school years. So yeah, it was very difficult, but I've been doing it ever since. I help people from all over the world. I help all kind of people, from doctors, lawyers, to your normal everyday person. And I do guarantee my readings. When someone calls me for a session, I don't ask anything except their name and date of birth, and I take it from there. And I really know that this is my calling because I do see the difference that I've made in people's lives. I can't take full responsibility, but I do use my ability along with the willing person. If someone is willing to know the truth and change their life, that's the key for success right there. You know what I mean? So basically, that's me. I'm Psychic Naomi.
Very interesting story. Near-death experience causes you to become a psychic. You're not the first person in the world who's had some sort of a near-death experience that's allowed them to discover abilities that they didn't know that they had. There's definitely something to that phenomenon, without question. Now, in regards to the first of all, just clarify here, your site, Jenkintown, a new psychic, jenkintown.business.site, just clarify, what exactly is up with these dates here that's on the first time reading offer, the twin flame reconnection meeting, and the full tarot reading? There's dates under there. Did you mean to, because those dates
Oh
are
yeah,
actually expired. They
that's that's old. But if anyone listening calls in for a reading or wants to come and see me from the show, I am offering the special price for that. They
Okay.
can just mention the show and they can receive a discount on their reading,
Awesome,
depending
awesome.
on which one they want. I like I said, I do tarot card reading. That's a full life in-depth reading. The tarot cards tend to tell everything. They also call out names, dates, times, and places. The psychic reading is more like a character reading. It's more based on the person, their self, like what's going on with them, where they're at, what they can do to, change situations. If there's something in their life that's bringing them down, what needs to go, what can stay. It's really, a very good reading. Also, it's a little bit more general. Doesn't get into names, dates, times, and places, but it's a good start. And that's the psychic reading. Those are the two readings that I'm offering right now. And I'm always doing meditations for people. Meditations are a little bit different. Meditations are like an assessment as to, if a person is like feeling not well lately and they've gone to a doctor, they can't really tell what's going on with them, or they're in a new relationship and they don't know exactly where it's going, or if they have, parted ways from someone and they would like to find out if they can rekindle that. That requires a meditation, and that's something I do very often for people, even more than readings. Like I said, it's like an assessment. And what it is that I basically look at their whole life and tell them where they went wrong and what they can do to change it immediately.
Awesome. Now, I need to ask you to silence the skeptics in regards to the abilities that you offer. I know some people who I work with, not going to name any names, but I tried telling him how I had a psychic communicate with my uh, maternal and paternal grandparents on the other side, and the clues that they gave me that led me to believe that there was my grandparents and the psychic, that it was definitely a genuine reading. Also, this girl I knew who died of heroin overdose, I had a psychic channel definitely have reason to think that she was definitely talking with me, and it was not some sort of a scam. But there's people I know, including some guy at work, who will insist it must all be for the money. They would think that psychics shouldn't be doing it for the money because their work cannot be proven. they would say, why don't you get a real job and do psychic stuff for free on the side? That's the way it should be done. How can you make money off something that can't be proven? Well, how dare they say that? I think it's perfectly reasonable for a psychic who has genuine abilities to make a living out of their work, and make a full-time profession out of it, and not have to get
Right.
another job on the side. So for those that don't believe, what can you, if you can't prove it, do the best you can
Well,
to show it's genuine
well,
science, genuine real.
first of all, let me say this. If I had $1 for every time I've heard this from someone, I would be really, really rich and I wouldn't have to charge for a service. However, you have to understand something. First of all, there is a scam in every business, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's there's scam in everything. That just, that's karma. Whoever wants to do something that is not true or use their, I guess, ability or what they can do to hurt other people, that's on them. They're going to get their karma. But all I could say is you have to understand, I can speak for me. I can't speak about the whole world of psychics because, like I said, there's good and bad in everything. What I do to ensure that my clients feel that I'm doing the right thing by them and telling them the truth is, like I said, when they have a reading with me, I do not ask anything about them. I ask their name and their date of birth, and I take it from there. I have worked very hard all of my life to hone my ability so in depth that I have the ability to see people around them, to see energies around them, to call out a name, an initial, or something that they've gone through that only them and God know. Now, like I said, this doesn't happen in every single reading, but it does happen. And like I told you, I've been doing this for over, God, it's going to be almost 30 years that I've been doing this. And I don't look my age and I don't even sound it, but I am in my age. However, like I told you, I don't live my life by trying to prove my ability. I truly believe that every person who comes to me is meant to come to me because they're searching. They're searching for help. And like I said, I don't really live my life trying to prove my ability. If we connect and what I tell you is right and you really believe me, then we can go from there. If you don't, then maybe this is just not for you. There's a lot of people that have a lot of difficulty believing that someone from the other side can actually connect with them, but they can. You have to understand, I really believe that in this life, no one dies. You don't die. You just get recycled and then you get lost. And sometimes people that pass over, they do need help from people like us on earth. I truly, truly believe that. In my opinion, psychics have been around forever. And from the very beginning, Nostradamus, you can't say that his predictions weren't true. A lot of them are true, especially nowadays. And nowadays, I really believe that psychics and psychic awareness and psychic ability is becoming huge. Everybody's going to a psychic. I mean, I'm booked for weeks out. I mean, as soon as I do a reading, I get another 3 waiting to come behind. And I know other psychics in the business that are booked. We are in a world today that we need to know the future. We need to know what's going on. And like I told you, I believe in my heart that there are good psychics. And yes, of course, there are bad. But that goes to say with every career, with every thing in the world. It's up to you, to your spirit, to use your spirit to decipher. Is this person full of it? Or does this person really know what they're doing? On everything, you should have your own intuition to feel if it's right or wrong. Are you getting me? Can
Of
you hear me?
course, yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Of course, I'm getting you. Um, now, I can't resist but asking this because I'm looking at your website, your business, the lovely tie-dye artwork display that
Yes.
shows your business. The your logo, if that I don't know if this is call this your logo, but it
Hmm.
is a eye inside a pyramid. Out of curiosity, do people ever ask you, do you work for the Illuminati because you have that logo on your
Actually, no. A lot of people haven't asked that if I'm involved in the Illuminati. No, no.
okay. I yeah, because I used to work for my mother, and she was an ophthalmologist. She had eyes all over the place, and boy, people would think she works for the Illuminati just because she was
I'm
all-seeing
sure,
eyes.
right?
All yes, yes. Interestingly, there's a Freemasonic lodge in Jenkintown.
Oh yeah,
Yes, that probably has that
it's right
symbol.
next door to me. It's
Really?
right next door.
Oh, that lodge, yes. And of course, if you were a Freemason, you wouldn't be telling me, or maybe you would tell me, but you wouldn't say anything about what goes on behind the
No,
doors. So,
I am
okay,
not. I am not for that at all. I'm not a Freemason. I'm not involved at all with the Illuminati. No, 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 no.
okay, yeah, of course you're not. So, getting on to some of the other stuff here, twin flame reconnection readings that you offer. I'd like to clarify here what exactly is a twin flame, and for someone like I who is trying to find his dream girl, now, what is the proper term for someone if you're trying to find your dream girl and you want to marry her and start a family with that person and live a wonderful life with that person, as I do? I haven't found her yet, and I want it to be a natural reconnection. I don't want to synthesize the relationship using a site like Plenty of Fish or eHarmony. I'd rather it be natural, and I find her through some sort of natural means. Although if I reach the age of maybe 38 or so and I haven't found her yet, maybe then if I'll try to synthesize it then and only then. But until then, I hope that something will allow me to find her. But is twin flame the proper term when trying to find like a dream girl of your dreams, or is soulmate the proper
Well,
term? What's the proper term
it
to be using here?
it depends. It all depends. I'm being honest with you. Um, I will use myself for instance. I've had soulmates in this lifetime, and it did not work. Sometimes it doesn't work with your soulmate all the time. It's very chaotic. It's very trying. It's troublesome. For me, I believe that a lot of marriages are soulmates. When you meet your twin flame, it's on another level. I mean, emotionally, mentally, sexually, in every way. A twin flame is on another level. A twin flame is another human being that sees the world exactly the way you see it, that has the same vibrational frequency as you, that loves the same things you love. You have everything in common with this person. It's basically like a mirrored soul, kind of being like with yourself, and you just get along really well. It's just phenomenal. That is like a real gift from the universe, from God, to be with your twin flame. Like I said, a soulmate takes a little bit more work. It's like kind of like a marriage that needs more attention, more work. I don't know. For me, I think it's a lot better for people to look for their twin flame other than soulmate. To me, soulmate is a thing of the past. Now people want that fire. They want that fun. They want that passion. They want that excitement. And that's where the twin flame energy comes in. You get where I'm coming from? A soulmate is kind of just someone you grow old with, someone who's there, but doesn't give you what a twin flame can. Am I making sense to you?
Yes, you are making sense. Now, the tarot reading that I should say tarot. The second T in the word is silent to be specific. Tarot reading. Uh, now, I use tarot myself whenever I have questions I feel like answering. I haven't used it in a while, but the tarot deck that I use is the Deviant Moon Tarot. I may have been a little biased when I got that. I checked to see what the most popular tarot decks in the world are, and according to a couple sites, the most popular tarot deck is the Deviant Moon Tarot made by this guy named Valenza. Interesting how Valenza is a popular name in the Upper Moreland Township area where I live. Valenza family very prominent. They have a property where they decorate the with Christmas lights like crazy every year. Um, but anyhow, I don't think that's the same Valenza. But anyhow, Deviant Moon Tarot, my tarot card of choice, tarot deck of choice. And I don't know if maybe seeing what the most popular tarot deck was the proper way of going about getting a deck. Why that one is the most popular, I don't know. Maybe you could help answer that for me. But which deck do you use? Why do you use that deck? And when it comes to answering questions, the Deviant Moon Tarot, you put 10 tarot cards in a circle around a moon with a face on it, and each look at each card, which has a different category to it, before the final outcome card, which gets the ultimate answer to the question. Is that similar to how you go about to answer questions, or do you use a completely different method for doing tarot readings with your deck? What deck do you use
Well,
again? And
I believe what my belief is, what I have come to believe, and like I said, you don't have to. You can't buy yourself tarot cards. Someone has to actually gift them to you. That's just my belief. But I mean, a lot of people buy their own cards. So I've been using the same cards for almost 30 years, and my grandmother gifted them to me, and it's a rider deck. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about Aleister Crowley. I get that. And every time I try to use another deck, I don't like, the way I feel with it. So for me, I'm very connected to this deck, which is the rider deck. And like I said, it could be just because my grandmother gave them to me, or because, every time I do a reading, it's always been successful for me. I never really had, thank God, in my whole entire life, anyone ever say to me, oh, well, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm being honest. I'm really, really, on point with what I'm doing. And that's why I really believe that this is my calling. But getting back to what I was saying with the tarot deck, in all honesty, you can use playing cards to read when you have the ability. When you have the ability, you can use anything. It really doesn't matter. The cards are, honestly, for me, the cards are like a missing piece of the puzzle. They put together kind of what's missing. It's like a mirror. When I use my cards, it's like holding a mirror up to someone's face and showing them, well, look, this happened at a certain time, and you should have gone that way about it, or you should have gone this way about it. It's kind of what the cards are to me. They're a tool. What I really depend on is my intuition, what I'm feeling about the person at that time. It just depends on, what you connect with. It's all about connection, for me at least. So, in all honesty, I use the same cards I've been using for a really, really long time, and that is the rider deck. I've tried angel cards. I've tried a couple other decks. They just didn't feel the same. So I stuck with what I know.
Thank you. Now at this point, I think I told you this. I do my shows. The last 35-40% of each show is pay-per-view. I ask my listeners to pay me on Patreon. I still want to go for a little bit longer discussing some things. I will plug your phone number in the video description if that's okay with you. If you want to give it out right now, why don't you give it out right now before I make the announcement that this is going to be, the rest of this interview will be pay-per-view. So why don't you get any business stuff out, including your number, before we get to the last few questions of the show, which will be pay-per-view after this. So plug your number and your business before we get into the last few subjects, please. You want to do that?
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. The number to call me if anyone is interested in a reading. I also do one free question by phone. It's 267-266-1380. Again, the number to reach me is 266-1380. And I am the Jenkintown Psychic. My name is Naomi.
Thank you. And the rest of this interview is going to be pay-per-view. Please, folks, consider paying me on Patreon to be able to listen to these interviews in their entirety. I know we're all struggling with finances in this time of great challenge and inflation, but it certainly doesn't hurt for even people like I who have a 9 to 5 job at Whole Foods, which I must say is actually kind of a dream come true. Anybody who says I should get out of the matrix by not working, well, how do you make money? Out of curiosity, if you say that, I don't know. But working at Whole Foods is kind of a dream come true because I love to eat and I get a 20% discount on the food. And of course, if we want to if you want to ascend to a higher level of consciousness, folks. You kind of need to learn to discipline yourself to want to work for free, being service to others for people, and be willing to do that free of charge, knowing that you're doing positive things for people and the universe will reward you. If you want to see a day and age where the money doesn't exist, well, you got to discipline yourself to do that. So, and working at Whole Foods, I mean, everybody's got to eat. So that's the kind of job I think I'd like to have, even if money didn't exist, because I know I'm helping everybody. And working as the dishwasher, you see a stereotype of if you can't pay for your food, you do the dishes. So they make you think doing the dishes ain't cool, but I happen to like it. It's very bring out the Buddhist in me. And that's where I heard about you when I saw your um, card on my your little paper on my car when I went home from work. So it's a great job working at Whole Foods, but still I'd like to make a little bit of money off of this radio show. So please, folks, do consider subscribing on Patreon so you can listen to these shows in their entirety. Now, a couple more subjects before we. You want to say something?
Can I just say? Yeah, I want to say something about what you were saying. I believe that when you humble yourself, when you are in a humble state, this is when the blessings come. When you are in a prideful state, when you are, how can I explain this to you? Ego. When you are in the ego, I don't believe that you can become blessed that way. It just doesn't work. You get where I'm coming from? You have to humble yourself. And I believe that that's when the true blessings come. That's when God is able to do his best work on us, when we are moldable like clay. And I believe that God takes a lot of people. See, I get a lot of clients, well, why did I have to go through this? Or why did I lose this? And oh my God, I ended up in the hospital and I couldn't talk to no one and I lost this and I lost. What were you doing at that time? Oh, I was out partying and I was making a lot of money and I wasn't talking to my mom. Well, do you think that was a good state? Do you think you were vibrating at a good frequency at that point in your life? No. See, God, the Almighty Creator, he knows, he sees everything. He created us. So he knows when we are at a good place where we can actually be helping others, when we can actually do good for mankind, because a lot of people seem to forget, because this world has programmed us so much to believe that we were just put here to be egotistical maniacs and only do for ourselves. That's not how it goes. We all have a gift. We all have an ability. It just depends on how we want to use that gift and that ability. For some people, it is working at Whole Foods. We need people to work at Whole Foods. You understand where I'm coming from? For some people, it's a psychic. For some people, it's a doctor. For some people, it's a cleaning lady. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all have a job to do. There's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. We have all been so programmed to believe that that's not a good thing. That's wrong. It's just dead wrong, in my opinion. And so I believe that sometimes God picks and chooses his people at that time to humble them. And so if you are working at Whole Foods right now, please believe me, there's a reason. There's somebody that you have to meet. There's somebody that you have to connect with in order to evolve even more than what you already have. That's really what I feel. Like, even the way you got this job was very, like, easy and smooth. You didn't have to suffer for it. You get where I'm coming from? And I just really believe that when things happen like that, it is something supernatural taking over. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing when you can be in that humble state because you're open. You're open for things to change. You're open for things to come in. You're open for something new rather than being in a corporate company where you're just full of, you know, how can I say this to you? Being so like feeling yourself better than anyone else, or ego, just full of ego. That's the word I'm looking for. Full of ego. It just don't work. As I have so many clients that work in the corporate world that are just miserable. And then I have clients that just work from home making TikToks who are influencers and are so happy cooking food. You know, I can't even get into it. There's so many levels that people need to start awakening to. And one of them, the most important thing that people could start awakening to is letting go of ego. Ego will destroy you. Ego is what makes you think you're doing well when you're really not. That's why a lot of people feel so empty inside. Their houses are filled with all these expensive name brand, amazing things. They drive the best car, they wear the best clothes, da 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 da. But they're empty. They're empty. They're lonely. They don't talk to their family. They don't talk to their children. They can't make good connections with people to have a lover. It's because of the ego. You basically, at that point, have given in completely to ego. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to have money, but balance. A lot of people don't know how to balance life, and that's where they get screwed. You get where I'm coming from?